The 2021 ESET V4 Cup season continued in the second weekend of June. After the opening round at the Hungaroring and then a trip to Slovakia, teams and rivals resumed their battles for points in Poznań, the first time the ESET Cup has visited the Polish track in several years. The event also marked the end of the first half of the 2021 season, again providing thrilling spectacle in both the GT races and in the TCR Eastern Europe encounters. Many had experience of the Poznań circuit from previous visits, but for some it was a venture into the unknown. They soon had to get used to a new track throughout the weekend and adapt as quickly as possible. As ever, the GT races were the highlights of the weekend schedule. The traditional format comprised 2 sprint races and a 1-hour endurance encounter as well. Local driver Martin Jelinski started from pole position in the first sprint. The Olymp Racing driver having a great opportunity to claim his 4th win of the season in the short format. Gregor Zigo lined up in second in GT3, with Peter Weyer getting away third. Denis Vacek started first in GTC. Matej Palevec was the GT4 poleman. Jelinski did not disappoint his supporters. As the race got underway, he leapt away out front and immediately started to build a gap on his opponents. Clearly out to stamp his authority on his home event, he continued to open up his advantage throughout the race on his way to win number 4 of the season despite inclement weather. It was a dream start to his home weekend of racing in Poland.
Tak, od ostatnich wyścigów w Poznaniu upłynęło
Good race, Martin Jelinski. In the beginning, I was able to build a lead, leave my rivals behind. Then it was about maintaining that advantage, and I did that well. It's always a good feeling to win at your home circuit, and hopefully we'll be able to keep it up in the remaining races too.
Dopisała jak gdyby tutaj stawka, więc jestem zadowolony tym bardziej z wyścigu, który przebiegł powiedzmy w takim tempie dosyć spokojnym, ostrożnym, ponieważ było ślisko. Cały czas kontrolowałem jak gdyby jazdę, więc jestem zadowolony generalnie.
Peter Vera's podium was his second of the 2021 season. The Good Speed Racing driver had already appeared on the podium at the Slovakia Ring in May, finishing second in GT3 in Sprint Race 2. He finished 3rd overall and 2nd in GT3 here. It was the 3rd podium finish of the year for Gregor Zigo, the Trevor Racing BMW driver who lifted last year's GT3 Sprint Championship title, finished 2nd in the 2nd sprint at the Hungaroring and took 3rd in the 1st sprint in Slovakia. He came home 3rd in the GT3 class here in the 1st sprint race in Poznań. And Matej Palevec claimed another victory in GT4 to increase his championship advantage. On Sunday, Martin Jelinski was in fine form too, again claiming pole for the 2nd sprint race of the weekend. Peter Vera lined up 2nd, and Peter Kasharek was 3rd in GT3. Matej Palevec again starting from pole position in GT4. Denis Vacek was at the head of the GTC field. It wasn't a great start to the 2nd sprint for Stanislav Jelinski, however. The older Jelinski spun in the opening meters and had to return from his grassy excursion. Meanwhile, San Martin was working hard, forced to defend attacks from Adam Rzepki at the beginning of the race. Rzepki had made a great start to move up to second in the Porsche. But in the laps that followed, a familiar picture emerged. Jelinski steadied the ship and steadily built a lead ahead of Rzepki as he raced to another victory. Peter Vera again finished second in GT3 with 2 podium results in his home event. He too had every right to be very satisfied with his Poznań weekend.
Today is very hard for me, very hard, because I'm starting here is second time for GT3. Yeah, I'm last year starting is GT4, very different car, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy today. I'm in second place today. What's gonna say?
No words needed. Although Stanislav Jelinski was in trouble early on, he recovered superbly from his spin to finish third in GT3 at the flag. The father's fight back to the podium was aided as Peter Kaczmarek was forced to retire. Denis Vacek claimed victory in GTC in the Lamborghini. It was an impressive performance from the Czech, who had started last on the grid. Sunday's GTC winner, Adam Rzepki, couldn't quite repeat the feat, but he still managed a second place finish on Sunday. Matej Pavlicek dominating in GT4 once again. The RTR Project's driver has won 5 of the 6 races in his crossbow in the opening 3 rounds of the 2021 season. And thanks to another successful weekend, Pavlicek increased his overall lead in the championship ahead of Ferenc Fischer, the Hungarian unable to match his rival's pace. In addition to the GT cars, TCR Eastern Europe also raced in Poznań. Tomasz Pekar started the weekend as the championship leader, 17 points ahead of second place Michał Marquez, with Sebastian Steibel in third. It was a busy weekend. Marquez took pole for race 1, championship leader Pekar second, and returning driver Szymon Jablonski lining up in third place. As they got away from the grid, the top 3 from qualifying was unchanged at the beginning of the race. Michał Marquez proved an absolutely dominant performance to win by almost 8 seconds in the end over Tomasz Pekar. The Carpec service driver, who's won 3 of the 4 previous races, was forced to settle for second place this time out. Szymon Jablonski maintained his third place from qualifying. The Polish driver claiming a podium result in his first race back in TCR Eastern Europe. It was the second TCR Eastern Europe victory for Marquez, following victory in race 1 in Slovakia.
Yeah, it was great. I managed to start perfectly. It was everything went as I liked it. So I managed to pull away at the start. First lap I was a bit cautious, trying to look at how the conditions were looking. And yeah, then I kept pushing. My laps were stable, and yeah, in the end I managed to pull quite a big gap.
As a result, Tomasz Pekar's championship lead was cut to 10 points. And that margin might have been even smaller had Pekar not picked up the point for setting the fastest race lap. It looked as though the championship battle would tighten up increasingly here in Poznań. A third podium finish in TCR Eastern Europe went the way of Szymon Jablonski, the Pole having clinched his first 2 last year at the races in Brno. The top 8 from race 1 started race 2 in reverse order, meaning rookie driver Bartosz Groszek started from pole. His compatriot Lukasz Stolarczyk lined up alongside him on the outside of the front row, with Sebastian Steibel starting from third. The German having a tough day in the first race here in Poznań. As Poznań led them away, Steibel tried to pass Delacic, but the BTC Majni driver held on to his second place. Behind, Mika Marques had started strongly. Saturday's winner for the Mechanic Motorsport powered by Bagheera team moved quickly up from 8th on the grid to 5th position, showing every intention of not staying there. Impressively, rookie Bartosz Grocek held his lead right to the flag in race 2. The young Pole claiming his first win in his first ever TCR Eastern Europe weekend.
Yeah, I'm really satisfied. The race was good from the beginning to the end. I take the lead. That's what I came here for.
What you can say, how it is for a young driver like you are from simulator to real racing?
Yeah, it's a big difference, but I had small experience from CES Endurance, so I know these guys, I know the car, so it was easier for me, but it still was my debut in a TCR series.
An impressive debut indeed. While Grocek dominated, the battle for second was dramatic. Initially, Lukas Delacic led the chase as leader until he was passed by Sebastian Steibel. But it was in the end Mika Marques who crossed the line as the runner-up. Steibel coming home in third. Still the best race weekend result for him. With Thomas Picard failing to finish, Marques moved into the championship lead. Saturday's schedule was rounded out by the one-hour endurance race, but the start was delayed with heavy rain. The first laps were behind the safety car. Marcin Jelinski led the field away, but the pole-sitting poles spun immediately. They went green, which allowed the Trevor racing machine of Gregor Zigo and Denis Vacek to grab the lead. For much of the race, it looked like Zigo and Vacek were set for victory, but a late spin brought their dreams to an end. Somehow then, Marcin Jelinski managed to claim another win, but it was anything but plain sailing. Among his dramas, that early spin from the lead, a collision with another car, and a subsequent drive-through penalty. The disappointed Vacek and Zigo had to settle for second, behind the rampant Jelinski.
Ja tutaj się ścigam na tym torze już 10 lat.
It's my home race here. I really enjoy racing here at Poznań. The organisers have done a great job, and this round just gets better and better every time we come.
Tutaj zagranicznym przede wszystkim zawodnikom, że można się tutaj też fajnie ścigać, tak samo jak za granicą.
Well, that's it from the third round of the 2021 ESET V4 Cup season. We resume late in July in what is likely to be the sweltering heat of Grobnik, Croatia. Join us for all the action next time out. We'll see you then.